Welcome to a little bit of Calm and Crazy. My name is Jennifer, and today I'm excited to share with you some new Winter Wonderland Dollar Tree DIY Christmas ideas. I can't wait to get into it, so let's jump right on into today's projects. This first project is so loaded with so many ideas on how to, one, decorate a tree, and two, how to elevate these white Christmas trees from Dollar Tree. So you're going to start off with two of these white trees from Dollar Tree, and you're just going to take those bottom branches and you're going to push them to one side, and then you're going to butt them up against each other just slightly off so that their bottom posts do not match up. You're not going to worry about the little stands that they come in. We're not going to be using those. After that, you're going to take a zip tie, you're going to tie it around right above those bottom branches and zip tie that off, and then trim that zip tie. And then you're going to fluff it out just a little bit more, not precise yet, just getting a few of those branches down. And then when you get to those top two branches, the tallest two, you're going to take those, you're going to twist those two around each other, and that will help secure these two trees so that they will stay together. Don't forget about all those tiny little branches when you go to fluff. There are several of them. So I'm using a pulled noodle. Now this actually came from Halloween, but Dollar Tree does carry them for all the different seasons. They have them out for Christmas in red, white, and green, but you might even have a pulled noodle left over from summer. And I'm just trimming off a small little bit. The base of one of the trees fits perfectly inside the hole of the noodle. To help tone down that glossy, shiny plastic look, I took the tree out to my spray tent and I gave it a good coat of Rust-Oleum's Ultra Matte White, and that really did help tone down that glossy plastic look. Look how much better this looks already, and I haven't even decorated it yet. I decided to use this box to place the Christmas tree in, and I loved it. I thought it was so cute. I just placed the lid right underneath it, and that really gave it a little bit more interest and texture. And I wanted to not paint it or stain it or anything, and just left it as natural wood. And to secure that tree a little bit more, I went ahead, I did leave that noodle on there, but I took some grocery bags and I stuffed a couple of them around it, and that really did secure that. I am going to go and cover those up at the end, but for now I just left it, and now it's time to decorate my tree. So to start off with, I have this burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use it more like a garland. So I hook the very top at the top of the tree, and then I just wrap it around the tree. The ribbon adds a great fabric texture to the tree, and then I'm going to add on to that texture with other textures. So here is a pick that I got from Walmart. It was 98 cents, and I'm just pulling it apart, which is great. You don't even need scissors or wire cutters or anything. It just folds right apart, and I'm just taking the green parts right now, and I'm just putting it in, and this just adds another layer of color because I'm keeping this tree fairly neutral. Grab some Dollar Tree gold bells and some twine. I threaded the twine through and then tied a knot at the top, and then I'm just hooking the little gold bells on, and this adds that layer of metal that I wanted on this tree. So again, staying very neutral with it, but I wanted to warm it up just a little bit with these gold bells. After that, I got some of Dollar Tree's wood sticks. Now, if you can't find these and you have some in your own backyard, then go ahead and use your own wood sticks. These would also look really beautiful, or this idea, on a larger tree. So these are miter shears. These are fantastic. If you've never seen them, I highly recommend them. These are one of my favorite tools, and they are great for cutting smaller wood pieces, and you can also cut them on angles. Now, it does take a little bit of force, so if you have arthritis, this might be a little harder for you. I always like to cover them up, because if I don't cover with my hand when I go to cut, I find that I might end up with pieces flying, and just like that. So that is why I cover up my pieces. But once I get all my wood pieces cut, as many as I want anyway, I'm going in with some twine. I'm taking my twine and I'm wrapping it around the wood 3 times, and then I'm just tying it into a knot at that base, and then I'm going up the twine and tying another knot so that I can then hang it on the tree. And then I just go in and I hang my little wood ornaments onto the tree. Such a simple thing, but it adds such a natural element to that tree. I love that woodsy feel that these pieces add. After that, I have this Believe from the collection of words. You get 3 words in a package, and I took it out to my spray tent. I gave it a good coat of red spray paint, and I love the pop of red that it adds, especially as it pops off of the white. But then I felt like the tree still needed just a touch more red, so I grabbed the red berries that came with that pick that I used earlier, trimmed a few of those off, and just added a few, not too many because I didn't want too much red. I really still wanted this to be a pretty neutral tree, and I wanted that leaf to stand out. But I think that this tree turned out so beautiful and elegant, and my daughter wants it in her room. She loves it. I hope that you enjoyed that first project because today is a special video. I am taking part in Heidi Sombel's Christmas Friend Friday Hop. What that is a group of us got together and we are providing you with so much Christmas inspiration. You are going to hop from one video to the next. So I'm gonna leave just one video down in my description box for you to hop on into, and then you're just gonna continue hopping so that you can get filled with so much Christmas joy. Now, along with that, we are also doing a giveaway, and it is a huge giveaway. We are giving away the Cricut Explore Air. Yep, you heard me right. It is the Cricut Explore Air, one of my favorite tools of all time. Not only are we giving away the Cricut Explore Air, but we are making sure that you have everything you need to go along with it to get started. So we are giving away the carrying case, transfer sheets, vinyl, and the tools. Yep, the whole shebang. And all you have to do to enter this giveaway is to watch the videos in the hop and leave a comment as you go along. It is that simple. So make sure that you are having fun as you are hopping along and getting all that Christmas inspiration. If you are coming over from somebody else's channel and you are new here, hello and welcome. I'm glad that you are here. I hope that you will learn something new or find something interesting. And if you do, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. My teenage boy did promise me if I can get to 3,000 likes on a video, he will keep his room clean the entire winter break. So please help me hit that like button and let's get into the rest of these projects. For this next project, I'm using this longer sign from Dollar Tree. I don't want to ruin that Santa because I can always use them for a future project. So I take a paint scraper and I just work my way around and pop it off. You can also remove this paper that's on the front by just peeling it right off. I'm going to be using the back of the sign, so I flip it over, I pull off that ribbon, and then I use that paint scraper again just to help me work out those staples. Now to smooth out that area, I just do a quick little sanding, and then I'm going in with Waverly's chalk paint and ink, and I'm painting. Now when I paint, I just kind of get my paint on there, and I'm kind of doing a little bit loosey-goosey. But at the end, I always go back in with nice long strokes all the way over the whole piece, and that is how I avoid getting like brush marks, and that is a really good pro tip, whether you're doing a sign or if you're working on furniture, you want to make sure that you're working in those nice long brush strokes. So here I have a Winter Wonderland with a cute little snowflake. I designed this in Cricut Design Space, and if you have a Cricut Design Space membership, I will have a link for you down in the description box so that you can have access to this as well. So I put this on some transfer tape, and then I got this on to the board. After that, I wanted to seal and protect it, and I am using some DIY wax in order to do that. I get questions every time I use this wax where I get it. So I get it from someone local to me. You can go to their website and you can find out someone local to you, or you can order it from their website if you want to. I use either a lint-free cloth. I order these on Amazon. They're fantastic. I do wash them, so if my cloth looks dirty, I promise it's not. Or I can use a brush. So with a cloth, I just wipe it on, and then I wipe it off with the cloth. If I use the brush, I brush it on, and then I still have to use the cloth to wipe it off anyway. So that's why if it's a smaller project, I normally go in with the cloth. After I wipe it off, then that's it. It's all done, and didn't this sign turn out beautiful? I absolutely love it. I love the contrasting white and black. For this project, I am using this larger box from Dollar Tree. I love Dollar Tree's boxes, and the fact that this was only $1 is amazing. And then the 25 in December came from the Target dollar spot. But if you can't find it, you can use the die cut stencils, stickers from Dollar Tree and get a very similar project. So starting off, I'm going to remove the chomp from the box, and then I'm just going to push out the center of the box so that I can separate the main part of the box from the frame of the box. Then you want to go ahead and remove any of that paper that's hanging on the edge of the box that would make this look a little tacky later on. And then on the backing or the canvas or whatever you want to call this part, go ahead and remove some of that paper as well, and then sand down the edges as well as any of the rough spots on the front, and just make it as smooth as possible. I went ahead and took some Waverly chalk paint and white and gave it one good coat just as an added precaution. I'm using a scrapbook paper that is a white base, and I want to make sure none of that green would show through, and so it was just an added step that I thought was worth taking. So once this paint dried, I went ahead and added a thin coat of Mod Podge onto the board and then placed my paper on to the sign. Notice I didn't cut my scrapbook paper at this point. I always like to trim it out with sandpaper. But before I did that, I did do a really rough trim with some scissors, and then I went in with my sandpaper. This is after my Mod Podge is completely dried, and I'm using the sandpaper and just kind of curling it over the edges, and that is how I trim the paper off the edges, and it does such a fantastic job. I get the perfect trim every time. It's like the paper just molds away. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like the paper and the board become one. For the 25 in December, I'm treating them like any other vinyl, like I would if I had done this on my Cricut. So I'm going to weed them. So I'm getting rid of all the vinyl that I don't need. So the outside of it, as well as the inside of the letters. So do that first to the December, and then I do the same thing to the 25. For my transfer tape, I'm actually going to use Dollar Tree contact paper. Now, I don't think this works with all vinyls, but I have found that it does a really good job with the vinyl from Target. So if you do pick up any of these vinyl decals from Target, this contact paper will do a fantastic job. So just cut it to the size that you need it, put it on, make sure you have some form of a scraper, scrape it on the front, scrape it on the back, and I always like to peel with my image facing down, and I peel it and then apply it where you need. Make sure you rub it on first and then peel the transfer or contact paper off, and voila, you have your image where you want it. I just repeated that exact same process with December. It was super easy, and then I popped it right back into the frame. I didn't use any adhesive at all because it just had a really tight fit, and this sign was done. It was super simple and easy to do, and I absolutely love it. This is just about too easy to actually even call a DIY. All you need is one of those larger ornaments from Dollar Tree, or even one of the smaller ones, and some of the white pom-poms. So all you're going to do is pop the top off of the ornament, take about a handful of those pom-poms, and just drop them into the ornament and put that top right back on. Tie a ribbon around the top in order to hang it on a tree, and there you have a beautiful ornament that was so simple and easy to do. Now this ornament is a little bit harder than the last one. You still need a large ornament from Dollar Tree, but this time you need a pack of the large berries. You're going to use some wire cutters, and you're going to snip the wires right off of those berries. After you're done snipping those wires off, you're going to go ahead and you're going to open up your ornament. You're going to pop all of those berries inside of your ornament, and then you're going to pop that top right back on. And then go ahead and take your ribbon of choice, tie it onto your ornament, and then this ornament is done. Hardly harder than the last one, and yet it is still beautiful. Just the way that these two reflect the lights, I could decorate an entire tree in just ornaments of red and white. For this project, I am using a mirror. I will be using 3 of the 4 bottle brush trees, and then the 2 deers. They actually come 2 together for $1 at Dollar Tree. Before I began, I did need to perform surgery and remove the antlers from the deer because I've never seen curly Q antlers out in the wild, and so I decided I wanted does and not bucks. So I snipped off those antlers and any other weird looking plasticky bits that did not look like they belonged. So I went around trimming random plastic bits. Now where I did snip the antlers, if I didn't get close enough, I went in and snipped a little bit closer, and then I did go in with a fine grit sandpaper and sanded ever so gently to look like I didn't have some sort of weird toxic chemically ruined deer. I didn't want it to look weird. I wanted to make his head look, her head, sorry, it is a her now, her head looks smooth, and I fixed that. So once I got rid of those curly Q antlers, then it was time for me to start putting my little Winter Wonderland deer female doe scene together. I laid everything out where I wanted it, and then I went in with some super glue gel in order to get everything to stick to the mirror. I will tell you, I was trying to avoid using E6000 because I was thinking, you know what, the super glue is going to dry really fast. But E6000, anytime you're working with glass or something glass-like, really is the best adhesive to use. So the super glue didn't work very well, and I ended up having to go back and use the E6000 anyway, which you see right here. So skip the super glue step and go in with the E6000. Just have something, if your deer are not stable, just use something to help them stable while they're drying. Once everything is completely set and dried, so you might just want to walk away and leave it for a few hours or even overnight, then you can go in and add some snow if you want to, or leave it the way it is. It's up to you. For the faux snow, I went ahead and I put Mod Podge where I wanted the faux snow to stick, and I just brushed it on anywhere I wanted on the mirror as well as on the frame of the mirror, and then I just kind of put the sprinkled the faux snow on it and pressed it around. And then, like you would with glitter, you kind of dust off what you don't need after the Mod Podge dries. So I went ahead and dusted that off, and then I went back in and did like a second layer, and you can just keep building it up until you're satisfied with the amount of snow that you have. Altogether, I went in about 3 different times in order to build it up to the level that I wanted, but honestly, you could go without any snow, or you could just keep adding it and building it. That's what's fun about this, is you can really personalize it to what you want, but it definitely is just a magical little winter wonderland, and I think it turned out super beautiful, and my animal-loving daughter absolutely loves it too. This is a really easy project, and you just need a few supplies. So let's jump right on in and let me show you how I put together this little farm stand. I started off by using Waverly's chalk paint in white, and I painted the crate as well as 4 of the shorter dowel rods that you get at Dollar Tree. Once all of that dried, I used some wood glue as well as some super glue just to help hold on to that wood while that wood glue was drying, and I placed 1 dowel rod in each corner of the crate. So I used the wood glue along the side of the dowel rod, and I used the super glue at the very bottom of the dowel rod, and then just right at the top where the dowel rod met the top of the crate. And that way, while the wood glue was holding, it acted like an anchor for that dowel rod. So once I was able to get all 4 of those dowel rods in place, it was time for me to add that tin roof. So I got the tin roof from the little picture frame. I love that Dollar Tree carries those. But first I needed to unscrew the little clip, and that came out super easy. And then I just needed to remove the tin, or the corrugated tin, from the frame itself. So I just quickly took that out. I used super glue to attach that to the dowels. Now originally here, I went ahead and I super glued it and faced it down. Later on, I found that I prefer to actually add the super glue and the tin roof, and then I added something heavy on top of it. Actually, I used my Waverly chalk paint and I just sat it on the tin roof. So I thought that was a better way to go about it. I used my miter shears in order to trim the ends off of a larger popsicle stick to create a sign for my stand, and then some Waverly chalk paint and white mixed with a little bit of water to thin it out to make a whitewash. I wanted it just a real thin coat. I wanted that wood still to pop through that sign. And then I cut Farm Fresh with my Cricut. I will have a link to this in my description box for you. Hot glue that straight onto that stand. To give this even more Christmassy vibes, I'm using the berry garland from Dollar Tree. I'm cutting it up into 4 different pieces, and then I'm just wrapping it around the dowels. So on this very first one, as I'm wrapping it around the front, I do take it around the Farm Fresh sign a couple of times, and then I loop it towards the back over the tin roof, and I repeat that same thing on the other side. And then on the back, when I get to the top, I still have a little bit of it remaining, and I kind of give it I kind of swag it towards the front. and I do that on both sides. And I think that really just gives it that nice little pop of red that it needed. I love this. I love this whole scene together. Everything is just white and bright, and then you have that pop of red. It's absolutely just beautiful. Make sure you go see who is next in the hop. Also, don't forget to leave comments so that you can enter the fantastic giveaway. Here are a couple more Christmas videos for you to check out so you can get some more inspiration. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.